you're not managing your time, definitely the next slide, the next turn is procrastination.
Time management is life management. If I would summarize the benefit of time management, I would say that if you manage your time properly, then of course the quality of your life would be better. So what actually causes stress is because we do not know how to mogul so many things. Teenagers, of course, is a stage where one, you're trying to identify yourself. You have so many things ahead of you. So if you can plan your time, I talked about academic performance, right? I've talked about you having time to even play, that for realization. Time for family bonding, very important. So that if it can be done in 2 minutes, then don't procrastinate. So check around you. Are you supposed to do something now? What's that thing? If you can do it within 2 minutes, then do it now.
Talk about it more. The issue of saying no, because a lot of teenagers find it hard to say no. So they say yes to every single thing.
So
have you ever wondered what exactly teenagers do with their time? Have you ever heard a teenager say, I don't have time, and you're wondering, you don't have time. If you don't have time, what should I be saying as an adult? We're going to be diving into that conversation today on P&T Show, and we're going to be looking at time management and teenagers, how to strike the balance. And I have someone in the studio with me today who I consider most appropriate for having this conversation. I'm talking about no other than the very indomitable Counselor Ruth Benro, my amazing, beautiful friend in the studio. It is so good to have you in the studio today. Thank you so much. Finally. So let me tell you backstory behind what you see and having Counselor Ruth in the studio today. She was supposed to have been in our the launch of P&T Show last year, but unfortunately, situations beyond her control, and she wasn't able to make it, and she said she would definitely make it. And I'm so glad that we are finally here, and she's rocking our P&T Show t-shirt. Okay, so welcome to another episode. On this show, we celebrate parenting and we inspire teenagers, and today we're going to go straight into this conversation. Teenagers and time management. You are the baba in this area. Did I also tell you that she has written a book and taught a lot of classes and seminars on this same topic? So she is a master when it comes to this very topic. So we're going to be starting this way. Why do so many teenagers struggle with time management? Because, you work with teenagers, and so you should know. Let's start from there.
thank you very much for the question. So basically, I'll start with the definition of time management. So when we say time management, what are we referring to? One, we're looking at how we manage and control our time. How we spend our time. That's time management, right? If we must be productive, if we must be effective, then of course we must use our time well. So every one of us, of course parents and then teenagers, we use time every day, whether we know it or not, consciously or unconsciously. For instance, if you've said good morning today, yes. If you've asked when is your breakfast, when are you eating lunch, or when are you coming back from school? Every day, whether we like it or not, we work with time, right? So time is one infinite resource. Thank God for His mercy. We all have 24 hours, right? So time basically it's what we use every day. Of course, the start of our lives was time. Because if I ask you, how old are you now? You're taking me back to when you were born. So I just wanted to establish that. So with teenagers and time management, when most times you really do not know the purpose of your life or why you're here on earth, if you really do not know or have a goal, and then you just wake up every morning and you feel, let me take today as it is. And of course, you might not be able to manage your time well as a teenager. Before a teenager would be able to manage their time well, we want to ask, what was that teenager doing as a child? Right? So if a teenager is not able to manage their time, then you are going to be tracing it back to at ages 4, 5, 6, 7, what were they doing? Now, so because if you can plan your time well, if you can control the time you spend on a specific task, if you can organize your environment, your room, that parlor, your reading space, Then, of course, as a child, when you get into teenagehood, and of course, it's an easy ride. So for teenagers who have not really built executive functioning skills, who have not been able to build even time they spend legitimately with their friends, and of course, they would have issues managing their time.
Amazing. So, does that, if a teenager is currently having issues with managing their time, does it affect their lives? If it does, how does it affect it? I mean, their lives, their academics, and everything.
So I would say time management is life management. If I would summarize the benefit of time management, I would say that if you manage your time properly, then of course the quality of your life would be better. So now I will now break down what is this quality of your life. Now, as a teenager, the only thing I expect that you're doing now is concentrating on your studies, whether in secondary school or university. We're looking at 13 to 19, right? Teenagers. So if you can properly schedule your time, schedule your tasks, and follow through, and of course, one, your academic performance will increase. Why? Because you're not doing that last minute rush. You have an assignment for 2-3 days. So why wait till the last day to do it? At the end of the day, I've talked about academic performance, right? So because you took your time to research, you see that in your academic thoughts you have good grades because you're reading, you're not wasting your time. Time for exams, you have not powered up your notes, right? You've been reading, you've been looking at the textbook, you've been going online to search for important materials that will help you. At the end of the day, your results are better. And because you've managed that time well, you also have time to play. So it's not even about reading books. So because you are able to prioritize your time, knowing what to do at the right time. So you would see that time to play and gist. You still have the time. And with that, you're more relaxed. You're not stressed. So what actually causes stress is because we do not know how to mogul so many things. Teenagers, of course, it's a stage where when you're trying to identify yourself, you have so many things ahead of you. So if you can plan your time, I've talked about academic performance, right? I've talked about you having time to even play, that for realization, time for family bonding, very important too. So you want to be with your sister, with your parents, it helps you. Helps you to manage stress. And as a student, if you can manage stress, you can manage your anxiety because most times you are anxious because you're not well prepared for that test. You're not well prepared for the presentation, right? So if you're able to manage your time, trust me, you would have a better quality of life.
Wow.
I think that's where I want to, draw the line.
So much. Okay. So there is this thing about whenever we talk about time management, procrastination comes as the next topic because if you're not managing your time, definitely the next slide, the next turn is procrastination. So, and some people say, "Oh, procrastination is just my life. It's my personality." So let's even look at this procrastination issue. Is it a thing of personality trait, or is it a habit that has been formed over time? And then, how can teenagers manage it either ways?
Procrastination. I will do it tomorrow. I will do it tomorrow. It's procrastination. You know how you're supposed to just do something now and you feel, I can do it tomorrow. I'll do it later. Then mom will not start shouting, Rebecca, Judy, have you done your assignment? I'll do it. And before you know, it's as simple as that. It could be small chores. Whatever you don't do now that you're supposed to do at that time, of course, that's procrastination. Now, procrastination is really not a personality trait thing. We picked it up. It's an habit. Yes, it's an habit. So if you over time delay what you're supposed to do now, then of course the time it will get used to you. You will not be as an agbada. There's something you can really do quickly or swiftly. Yes. So with procrastination, like I said, it's not really a personality thing because I'm not sure we inherited it. I'm not sure it's in the blood, right? So you see your uncle, your mom, your parents around you. Everybody is not really doing what they ought to do at a particular time. And so you just develop it. So how would you, as a teenager, deal with procrastination? That's the second part of the question, right? So first thing first, set smart goals. In setting smart goals, and of course, you're looking at your goal is being specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's realistic, and then it has a time bound. Somebody said if there's no time attached to any goal, then of course it's a mere wish, right? So because you've set a goal, so it means there's something ahead of you. There's something you're always looking up to. Hey, I have something to achieve at the end of the month. I have something to do at the end of the week. So with that, it helps you to spend your time wisely. So if you see yourself always procrastinating, you want to call yourself to say, what have I really been doing with my life? So that's one. Another thing that can help you with procrastination is the 2 minutes rule. David Allen said something that if it can be done in 2 minutes, then don't procrastinate. So check around you. Are you supposed to do something now? What is that? What is that thing? If you can do it within 2 minutes, then do it now. So personally, I've extended it to 5 minutes for myself. So if there's something I want to do, I want to write something, and it will take less than 5 minutes, 3 minutes, I'll do it now. Because don't forget that the more we pile up things, at the end of the day, when we are rushing, we'll not be as effective as we are. Now, if you take 2 days to do an assignment and you're taking 20 minutes or 1 hour to do that same assignment, it's not the same thing, right? So if it's less than 2 minutes, so let me go back to David Allen, please do it down, right? And of course, you want to look at weighing things. As teenagers, not everything you should do. Procrastination is doing the right thing at the wrong time. Let me put it that way. So what am I supposed to do now?
Because even when you are not doing something, there's something you are doing.
Yes. So what am I supposed to do now? Is that the right thing I am doing? Because we can be busy all through the day, but we are not productive.
Busy, stressed out.
Mommy, what are you doing? Mommy, I'm busy. Okay, what have you done? Don't forget the difference between student A and student B will be how they spent their day.
It's true.
Forget about what you become in 10 years. Forget about your 5-year goals. Of course, I am an advocate of setting goals. But check your activities you do daily. It is the seconds that counts to minutes, that counts hours, that count to days and weeks, right? So if you say, I want to be this person in 10 years, what that gives you a big picture. What are you doing daily to get there? Now, so if you are able to, know what is important, that's my third point, right? So what is important to you part-time? Now, this is what will lead to my fourth point, which would be prioritization. So as a teenager, what should be your priority?
Yeah.
So what are you prioritizing? Like I said, for 13 to 19, your major goal today or in life should be that you excel academically or in your skills or anything you're doing, right? So if that is before you, and of course every other thing should be secondary. So if you can prioritize, now know what you ought to do. Of course, you could have 10 things you want to do, but which one is heavier? Priority, which one carries more weight? Which one would make more impact in your life or in the life of others? So that once you are able to prioritize, and of course it helps you. After prioritizing, of course, some of us do not have to-do lists. That's another thing that causes procrastination. You know how you wake up in the morning and just like, Father Lord, we thank you for today. And then the next thing, you're not thinking, then it is not night. It's 9 p.m. Maybe it's time out. I've not done this thing. No. So what have you been doing? So once we are able to have a to-do list, so for this week, what do I want to achieve? Going back to goals. You see how these things are intertwined. So for this week, what do I want to achieve? For today, and then you try to plan a day ahead. I would not sit this morning and start thinking of what I want to do today. You're already wasting time. So before you sleep, just ask yourself, okay, so tomorrow, what will I do? Journaling is also good. So if you could write them out. So in the morning, this is what I want to do, just key things. So by the time you are able to achieve that, the rest you could actually play around with them. So have a to-do list. Follow through. That would help you not to procrastinate. We have so many ideas too. If you do not want to procrastinate, you also would want to analyze time spent. Most times Why we procrastinate is we do not appropriately know the time we would spend on a particular thing. So for instance, I want to dress. I want to wash the plates. I want to read anything. But because I've not over time know how many minutes it takes me to do a particular task, by the time you under time yourself, over time yourself. Say for instance, you think this thing, you know how you feel like, you know this assignment. You just look at it like, I'll finish it. Then you now go and play. Then you now come back. Here, 1 hour. you're still looking for how to go about the assignment. Then you're like, okay, till tomorrow. Hello, come back class. After all, I mean, you know. Yeah. So if we do not over time gauge the time we spend on specific time.
Yeah, especially recurring tasks.
Thank you. Then of course we'll just end up shifting it to the next, and that's what procrastination is. Okay. So basically, I think I should stop there.
Wow, thank you so much. I love the points you shared on how to handle procrastination. They are very practical, and if anybody is watching this and they really mean to deal with procrastination once and for all, this is it. And I want to add something to what you said about using a to-do list. Using a to-do list is something I encourage every of my teenager, every of my mentee to use, because it gives you accuracy it helps you achieve more. You look at the things you've achieved as you're thinking it's done for the day. There's a sense of fulfillment that you have that, yeah, oh, I did this. And if you did not do it, you also know. Because it's like playing playing football with a goalpost. You know when you've scored a goal, and you know when you missed a goal. So it's clear. So but what I will add there is to make it like have 2 compartments. Have must do and can do. Like have things that are important, urgent, like that, and on the other hand have things that is good to do, you can do it today, but these are the most important, so you start from these ones. So I'm going to ask a question based on that. What if I am trying to deal with procrastination and I'm doing everything you've said, but a friend jumps into my day and wants me to help them do something? Probably it's time to get my assignment done, or it's time to do, the laundry in my home. But a friend calls to say, oh, please, can you help me? I want to go to so and so place. I don't know the way. You know the way better. Can you accompany me? So such thing, what do you do as a teenager? Because we always have such tasks, such demands on our time.
I can't remember who said it. But he said, if it's not in the schedule, then it's not important. Okay. So I have sat down in my life and I've planned how my day would go. Mm-hmm. And then somebody else who has planned their own life wakes up in the morning, yes, and tries to scatter my day. That's what it means, literally, right? Now, the only way I'll answer her, okay, there are 2 things. It's 1, I don't value my time. So I don't have plan and vision for my life. So what is your own plan? I'll follow you. That's one way. Second way is, if I have drawn a schedule, of course, when I tell teenagers to do to-do lists, there are other spaces for flexibility. So for instance, I will not expect all your time blocks to be full. I want to read this time, I want to play this time. Now, so I could sacrifice. So instead of, let's say this is my gisting time, or this is time to see a movie, or this is time for me to press my phone. Don't forget that in your to-do list, because most times when we have just serious things in our to-do list, we get frustrated. So see that phone, put it there. So I can actually now say, okay, instead of, I'm not going to play with my friends today, I'll not gist with them. Let me use that to help you. So 2 things. Sometimes it's training. I will even give an example. Something happened yesterday. I was at home and my classmate called me. And I don't know how far. I said, she's supposed to be late in school today. And so she just realized yesterday that she would not be going to school. She would not be able to go. And she calls me that, will you help me? I say, sister, I've planned my day. I cannot be there. Right? So, of course, that was even a day earlier. Right? So, but if we plan, like I said, see that your time gisting with friends, you can actually accommodate it in your to-do list. So that, okay, so maybe instead of 2 to 3, then I'm pushing it to 5 to 6. But it's still in my to-do. But don't just wake up and put your schedule on me. If I answer everybody like that, it's just like I'm going on this path and I'm supposed to move straight. And then you come and you take me there. And then I come back. And then one Mr. Emeka will now tell me, don't come and I go this way. When will I get to my destination? So if we are focused, that's what time management will also help us to. And of course, if it's not in the schedule, it's not important. And then of course, if you want me to help you, then you'd agree to my timing too. Don't forget, you are not, it's not a yes thing. So learn how to say no. It's part of it's part of it.
Oh, it's part of it.
Yes, it's part of it. You can always say no. I don't need to
mention more, like talk about it more.
Okay.
The issue of saying no, because a lot of teenagers find it hard to say no.
Okay.
So they say yes to every single thing.
So I'm a very cheerful giver. And I also love to help people, but I can't help you to the detriment of my own health on my time. So your ability to say no and know that no is a full statement. I tell you, I don't need to explain to you. I owe you nothing. So, dear teenagers, if you are actually convinced that this is something right, no is a full sentence. You don't need to explain it. Right? So this is my life. This is where I'm going to. I have mentors around me. I have people to help me. And if you've been, been surrounded with people who motivate you, who you can actually go to seek advice from. Right? So because I wouldn't want to say, don't say no to everything, right? So if you know it's bad, please say no. You don't even need to apologize. You don't need to explain. Don't let me put sand in fire and I'll be like, yeah, and I'll not be smiling with you. It's no. And just know that I don't need to explain, my mommy said I should not do it, or my auntie said, no. Because most times where teenagers get mixed up or get confused is trying to explain. I cannot follow you to party because they say, so the teenager is not even very well convinced, and so you're just trying to cook up story to tell your friend. Please know that you can explain and just say no. I can't make it. I'll not be in the party. I'm not coming for this, and then you're fine. You don't need to be explain, except of course you can explain and then buy them because some teenagers are well enlightened. But if you cannot, please know that no is a full sentence and say it with your full chest.
I love that. No is a full statement.
Yes.
Don't explain.
Don't.
Because the more you explain, the more you even doubt yourself, or the more they will debate with you. Now start saying, but. Amazing conversation right here. So the next question I'm going to ask you is regarding like more practical steps on time management. So we've been focusing on procrastination, how to deal with it. So are there like apps or other strategies that someone can use to, get better at time management?
Amazing. There are so many apps online. We have a Google Calendar. Can help you with. For instance, today, I have an alarm clock on my phone. If my phone rings anytime, if that phone is off, by the time it's that time to come on. What has also helped me to manage time is I said, so if you check my phone, you see 10 o'clock, do this. That's basically alarm. To just ring. Sometimes my children already know when mommy, it's time to, so we have Google app, we have the phone. The alarm clock, that's something that everyone can have. Okay, so other things we could do. It's Pomodoro technique. I used to like this. Sorry, I'll stand up. You know how especially when it comes to time management, you're doing something and you get bored if it's too long. So that Pomodoro technique tells you that, for instance, you'll be doing anything for 25 minutes, 30 minutes. I also apply this to students who are reading. So you'll be reading for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. You stand up, right? And then you go catch some air, you gist around, 5 minutes, and then you come back.
Yeah.
You sit down. You do another 20 minutes, 25 minutes, you stand up. Now, don't forget that time management is you being effective and productive in what you have to do. Yeah. So when you go out like that, it's, there's this oxygen that runs through your brain and then you're more refreshed to continue. So many other techniques will be B. I said B because in my book B, it's break large tasks into smaller parts. You know how you see this, okay, let me use this chair. It's very big. So that's how our projects are, or our assignments, very big. But if I want to carry this, I can decide to, if I can't carry it at once, I can decide to pieces it. I'll remove this pillow. I'll remove this other one, you know? And so that's it. So when we have large projects, this one want to kill me. That's the first. This auntie, I'm not doing. They want me to sweep the house with 10 rooms. I'm not doing. Because we're looking at a whole. But if you start with the kitchen, you do the kitchen 20 minutes and then you go and play. Like, how are you? After 5 minutes, you come back. You take one room. Then you go, you come. No, now, so when we break large jobs, large tasks, large projects into piecemeal, it will help us. It will help us manage our time better. Focus on one thing at a time. Okay, so in my book too, not mine, there's a friend that shared the story of a fella, and I'll just briefly say the story. That's focusing on one thing at a time. And then in the story, while he was teaching us, the day he was teaching us, and he said something that, so you have two people, right? And they've been given the task. The task is simple: fall down this tree. I'll stand up on my knees, right? And so, person A is eating, let me use our fine background here, on one spot. Now, even though it looks as though there is no immediate impact, but over time, it will break through. Now, person B hits here, hits here, hits here, hits here. And then at the end of the day, he's tired. Why? Because the tree has different marks and he's not able to fall the tree. But the other person who focused on one spot at a time, right? Now, of course, at the end of the day, the person is more productive because that tree fell down. Now, what does this go to show? When you have something, as a teenager, just focus one goal at a time. Now, at times we have 5 goals. Yeah. A, B, C, D. And then after 2 weeks, like, I beg, this goal cannot achieve it. Why? You're pursuing all the goals at the same time. So why not pick one? Focus on it. Give it your time. Give it your strength. Give it your energy. Give it all the resource. You're done with that. Pick the next. Of course, we can relate this to different aspects of our lives, right? So focusing on a particular task at a particular time helps us to be more productive and effective with our time. As opposed to multitasking. With pride. I used to say that a lot. I mean, I can multitask. I'm sure somebody has even said it, and you're happy. Like, you know how you're reading, you're eating, you're watching television together, you're doing your assignment. That's multitasking. Superman. But you're not productive. You're not. Now, let's trade facts. Example, you have a project at hand. A student is sitting, and that student is reading, gathering materials for that project. It could be a science project, anything. Now, because the student is focused, the only thing on my head is how to ace this, is how to finish this project. And so, all the resources on my table will be that project. Now, I want you to compare the quality that student will produce to another student B, who has that same project, and then she opens the book, and then there's maths textbook beside it. So when you look at this thing, let's say they work, then let me solve my maths, you solve maths. I've not finished washing plates. Now stand up, now go and wash plates, you now come back. Now continue. See this cartoon. You now sit down, you now watch. Then how some of us, we have been watching film and we are doing assignments together, and then instead of is, you put no wala. So at the end of the day, we check the quality of their work to not be the same. So why multitasking at its first seems that you are doing so many things at the same time, but that's not your best. And in life, if I would award a position, if I would pick a leader, if I would say who is going to present us, I would, because it will show. You can't put the same time. Somebody is putting 3 hours to this and you're putting 20 minutes and you think you produce the same thing. It will not. So why multitasking? And again, if you focus on one task at a time, trust me, at the end of the day, you can even accomplish more things than the person who has multitasked. So you are washing plates, you are playing, you are reading. Again, it doesn't help you to be effective. Don't forget that. In a world where we have billions of people, you're coming out, for instance, you want to get a job. We have many first class graduates. We have more. Two ones, it's like water. I mean, we are everywhere. All of that. So what will distinguish you from the next person? Effectiveness, excellence. That is something focus will give to you. Right. So many other things. Okay, so sleeping well. You know how sleep. So you're supposed to sleep. Teenagers, they'll tell you basically 7 to 9 hours sleep. We're looking at time management. So if you manage your time better, then of course you don't play with sleep. If you don't manage your time better, to affect your sleep. And once you don't sleep well, how you wake up the next morning and you're already tired.
You're cranky.
Now, when we sleep, our body has a way of preparing itself. A teenager that will stay awake till 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, playing PS4, playing any kind of game, or just looking for Nkechi on social media, right? That's a time waster, right? Now, it now affects your sleep that you wake up the next day, you're not as productive as you should be. The cycle keeps rotating. So if you sleep well, make out that time for sleep and sleep well. It will help manage your time better. If you manage your time better, it helps you sleep well, right? You have dieting, so yeah, it helps you. So because once we don't eat well, and then we eat junks, it tells on our energy level. And when our energy level is not right, that affects our work. Now, why you don't begin like, somebody that is hungry can really not do anything, right? So it takes someone who has eaten healthy, who is strong, to be able to work and control their time better. So if we need to eat well, we need to sleep well. Exercise will also help us. So many things. I share so many things in my book. Well, I will tell you my A to Z. Yes, thank you.
There are lots of them. And if there's anything anybody can do for themselves, it is to manage their time better. Because like you said, time management is life management. You can manage your time well, you manage your life well. So now in this whole equation, how can parents come in? How can they help? Because they are the most significant adults in the lives of their teenagers, supposedly. And so how can they help their teenagers in the strive to manage time better?
Okay, so this will take me to 21st century stealer of time, screen, social media. You know how, as a parent, I'm coming to you parents, right? You want your child to study, to read, and your child has never seen you read. You want your child to drop her phone or his phone to concentrate, and you are with your own phone. So the key word here is modeling. Yeah. So what do you want to see in your child? What do you want to see in your teenager? You can't say do as I say and not do as I do. So in one of the ways we can help our teenagers is by modeling. Okay, so we can't do away with our phones. We can't say our social media is bad. No, because of course it has its good part, right? But how do we show our teenagers that, hey, you need to balance this, because that's what here, balance. So there's time for everything. There's time for everything. There's time to read, there's a time to play, there's time. So as a parent, let your children see you. A child is talking to you, mommy, this is what happened in school today, or daddy, this is what my friend said. And then all through the time you're on your phone, and then you're not like, what did you say? And the child will repeat it again. Why? Because you're on your phone. And then tomorrow you tell the child, please drop the phone, do your assignment. What are you doing? When you don't even see it as a thing of importance to even place your child's needs first, especially when they want to have that discussion with you and you're on your phone, and then you're telling the child. So the child feels like, I mean, if I'm not important to my mom or my dad, they are pressing the phone, I'm talking to them. What is the other thing? Book. Now we'll do it together. So we'd have to help them model the right thing. That's one. Two, you teach them. You can't hold a child or a teenager accountable for what you've not taught them. Let's not assume. You say assumption is the lowest form of knowledge, right? Don't assume. So you teach them. So for me, for instance, sometimes we reduce screen time to 20 minutes a day. Sometimes all through the week, we turn off the TV till Friday evening, Saturday. So you'd have to, one, model, two, you teach them. This is the right way to use them, to use these gadgets, these things to make our lives better. If we don't use them well, then of course, when we're addicted to it, it will spoil our lives. Because literally that's what it does at the end of the day, right? So we teach them, okay, how to. Organization, planning, it starts from the home. So if you can teach them how to have an organized room, stay organized. And then aside being organized physically, organized in the head. You know how you could sit down and then you're calm. Or you could sit down and then you have so many things. So the home environment too. If your house is peaceful, if you have a conducive and safety place for your home, it has a way of helping the child manage time better, because the time for shouting, yelling, and this one they fight, this one, say cockroach, all those, because that's part of it too.
It's part of the time.
Part of time. You're quarreling with your husband and you're shouting. You're abusing each other, and a child that's supposed to be reading is thinking of mommy and daddy. Mommy is fighting daddy, daddy is insulting mommy. Your lifestyle, basically, as a parent, would affect the child. So because if as a child I'm supposed to be reading, and normally all things being equal, as I read, I'm supposed to assimilate. But when there's trouble in the house, I open my book, and instead of reading, I'm seeing daddy and mommy fighting, basically. And so with that, at the end of the day, they're not as effective as they can. So modeling and teaching, I think. And then teach them how to set boundaries with their friends. Yeah, I think. And with the screen time, yes.
Thank you so much. I love the fact that you touched on screen time, because it is one demon that is dealing with a lot of families. and I'm sure that any parent that wants to, up their game, their parenting game, they need to think about the screen usage in their home, whether it's on the TV or on the devices that they carry around. Okay, so I'm going to ask you the last question. And then after that, you would, give us your social media handle and, of course, talk to us about your book. So the last question would be, what advice do you have for teenagers who are currently feeling overwhelmed, who are currently feeling exhausted, feeling useless, if I'm to use that word, and they feel like, oh, every 24 hours, it just goes like that. Before you know it is morning, before you know it is night. What advice do you have for such teenagers?
Let me hug you. So I'll give you a hug first. Oh. Right. It's okay to be overwhelmed. Life not easy. It's okay to be overwhelmed, going to school, discussing with friends, learning. Your teachers will give you assignment, you come home, you wash plates. Some of them don't like washing plates, right? You do, so many things can stress out teenagers. And hey, this has been sending you a teddy bear hug, and you actually want to squeeze yourself right here, right? It's fine, it's okay. If you can manage your time better, dear teenager, you'll be able to have time for different things that matters to you. And at the end of the day, it will reduce your stress. So what usually makes or gets teenagers overwhelmed is their stress level. So if you cannot manage your stress well, then there will be a mental health breakdown, right? So when you always hear, I'm overwhelmed, life is choking me, they want to press my neck with assignment and all of that, just sit down and ask yourself, how well can I manage my time? It's also okay to seek help. If you're feeling overwhelmed, meet your teachers, meet your parents, talk to your friends, ask for help. Because at times, why we are overwhelmed is because we do not know how to do something. So you could be solving maths for 1 hour and you're not having headway. It will make you stressed out. So meet your friends, especially the ones that are good in subjects. Tell them to teach you this. If they can't, meet your teachers, meet your parents. So whatever the source of your stress is coming from, you want to address it. So you want to sit down and ask yourself, so why am I always stressed? That's like a self-reflection kind of thing. So why are you always stressed? What is that thing that overwhelms you? Because knowing why you're always overwhelmed, right, will help you. Stress is part of life. Stress is part of life. Stress is that thing that pushes you forward. So not all stress is bad. We have the good stress, we have bad stress, right? But when we are not able to cope with the stress of life, because if you're in Lagos, you're going to school, maybe there's traffic, you're coming back, there's traffic and all of that. If you're not able to manage it, then of course there's an issue, right? So yes, so there's an issue, so talk to someone. Then these to-do lists that we said, please draw a to-do list and try to follow it. Have a journal, get a journal, so that you know what to do part time. Yeah. So if I know what I'm expected to do tomorrow, I'll not be overwhelmed, because I already know that 9 to 10 I'm doing this, 10 to 2 I'm doing this, 3 to 4, and then leave time for rest. Like I said, don't fool there's this activity. No, you also it's part of something that will make you frustrated. So see that time to rest, time for 30 minutes sleep, bring your to-do list. Time to gist, to play around, should be your to-do list. That way, you're doing something that is impactful, you're doing something that will help you.
Fantastic. It's been it's been a very great moment. It's been a great moment talking with you about teens and time management. So Counselor Ruth has a book that she wrote for young people, children and teenagers. And she's going to talk to us briefly about it and how you can get the book if you want to. And if you want to take your time management journey seriously, if you're a parent, you want to help your child, you want to help your teenager, then you should get this book for them. So let's get to know.
Okay, so this is TikTok says the time. Right? The time is always clicking. It's always ticking. And that's, as I wrote two truths, right? That the time will always tick. We can't stop it. Even a broken clock, they said it's correct twice.
Yeah.
Time is always ticking. And then the second truth I wrote here, because I wrote just two, I wrote that time lost can never be regained. There's nothing we can do now that would go back to yesterday. It's gone. So what we have, it's our now. And what we do with our now would determine what our future would be like. Right. So in this book, TikTok said the time, 8Z of time management for preteens and teenagers. And Precious also runs a masterclass. Don't forget, we always do one masterclass with university students, right? Yes, on time management, right? So basically, it's A to Z. So it covers A, analyze your time, B, read, C. So you want to get this book for your preteens and teenagers. Okay, so over the past 5 years, every year I actually have a time management masterclass, and all of that is what I put into this. So beautiful resources you want to catch for your child.
So how can we get it? Is there...
Okay, so we have on seller. We have on seller for the e-copies, and in Lagos we have distributors, Port Harcourt. So please just reach out to Coach Precious. She has my details.
All right. So if you want to get a copy of that book, you can simply send me a DM and you'll get the details on how you can get it. So before I let you go, what are your social media handles in case someone wants to follow you?
On YouTube, Counselor Ruth Benro. On Facebook and Instagram, Ruth Benro.
All right. It's been a great time having this beautiful conversation with Counselor Ruth, and we've been talking about teens and time management. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and drop a comment. If you have a question, drop it in the comment section, and we'll be right there to answer it. Till we come your way again next week, Friday. Keep watching P&T Show with your family and friends. Bye.